Hi there, this is Dr. Samurai, a professor in Japan specializing in international and social pathology. And this is my diploma, with which I teach at the university. The topic of today's my minute lecture is Mr. Joseph Stalin. He was born in 1878. It was before 1900. After the death of Lenin, and he served for Soviet Union as the highest leader of the nation for 29 years. At first, the Soviet Union was governed by multiple people and groups. However, after Stalin reinterpreted Marxism from the Lenin's perspective and compiled it as one ideology named Marxism-Leninism, he started to manage the political administration based on his own Stalinism. So this ideology seemed to respect Lenin. In real politics, he ignored it and did whatever he wanted to do as he pleased, and named it Stalinism. He was born in the state of Georgia in a very poor family, and he joined Russian Social Democratic Labor Party when he was still young. He worked for the party very hard. He produced the party's bulletin periodically and robbed, kidnapped, and extorted the protection racket from each business. In other words, he contributed to the party greatly to earn money to run the Bolshevik faction of the party. He repeated arrests and ran away so many times. Once Lenin grasped the power of the Communist Party and he died, Stalin took that position over by himself. His political slogan was "Establish our nation under socialism." He started 5 years plan to conduct agricultural collectivization and rapid industrialization. However, this 5 years plan completely failed, and the nation itself became very short of foods for the people. Stalin instituted the Great Purge to remove the enemies of the working class, and that Great Purge lasted from 1934 to 1939 for 5 years. So he planned 5 years plan and it failed. He conducted 5 years Great Purge, both 5 years, and 1 million people were imprisoned and 700,000 people were executed. In terms of foreign affairs, under the slogan of Communist International, he repelled Nazi Germany and expanded his Soviet Union over Baltic state, Middle and East Europe, China, and North Korea, which means he was highly successful in spreading communism in much larger area over the globe. And after the World War II, the two nations, the United States of America and Soviet Union, rose as two major powers and started the Cold War between communism and the West, and started the Cold War between capitalism and the West and communism and the East. The Soviet Union continuously developed nuclear weapons, also experienced great famine, while conducted purges to Jewish people, including Jewish doctors. In 1953, when Stalin died, Nikita Khrushchev denounced Stalin and initiated the de-Stalinization of Soviet society. And although Stalin is later criticized for its totalitarianism, mass repressions, ethnic cleansing, deportation, executions of so many people, and famines that killed millions for some limited number of people, he is taken as being a victorious wartime leader due to his personality cult. Okay, these are the historical facts, and now let's get into the analysis of Stalin. As you know it very well already, I have been repeating that the foundation of the person's personality is formed by the relationship with his mother during his critical period, which is from 0 year to 2 years old. Sometimes could be extended to 4 years, including the development of that person's character. In case of Hitler, his mother was something like Hitler's slave. In the family, there was a clear power balance, and she was as if she did not exist because he could not establish attachment with Hitler due to her insecurity from having lost 3 sons prior to that. Because of this, he could also not develop any attachment with other people as he grows older, on which his authoritarian father imprinted the effect of violence and aggression. It's like no warm feelings with other human beings, plus belief in power and violence. On the other hand, in the case of Stalin, his mother, although she loved Stalin, his real name was Soso, although his mother loved Soso, she was also very strict and put the pressure on him to become a priest. In other words, what he received during his critical period was strict disciplines and corporal punishments based upon her high expectations of Soso, plus lower level of psychological neglect that comes from her strong interest in Christianity. Plus, up until he became 5 and parted with his mother, he was exposed to volatile and pathological violence from his father. So, Soso's base was strict disciplines and corporal punishments that comes from high expectations, plus bit of neglect and high level of aggression from his father. So mother's aggression and a bit of neglect plus father's uncontrollable violence. So these two political leaders, they look similar, but their base is clearly different. To put it simple, Hitler's base is neglectful, while Soso's base was abusive plus low neglect. And these formed each personality, in addition to both their father's violent aggression. Okay? So Hitler being neglected while Stalin being abused. And I would like you to understand this rule, okay? The beginning is the most important. What I mean is what happened during the critical period is the major basis of the personality, okay? And that major basis, neglect, later abuse, reiterate the effect of the original neglect. While its main basis is abuse, the later abuse reiterate the original abuse. Okay? So what I'm saying is, if the person is later abused, in case he is the neglected person, the effect of neglect increases. While if he is the abused person, the abusive influence increases by the later abusive experiences. Okay? Later abuse strengthens the original abuse or neglect. Because of that, Hitler proceeded to the direction of self-destruction, while Stalin proceeded to a further violent direction. As I have said, Hitler being isolated person all the way. His ideal image became humongous, and his compulsive and self-destructive features strengthened as he proceeded. In case of Stalin, though, although he shows some elements of him being psychopathic, like repeating robberies and runaway, lies and betrays repeatedly, use violence and annihilate the person who he felt to be his enemy, while he was obsessive with what he wanted and get it no matter how and what. So he shows these psychopathic features. However, as some people know, that on his last day, because he had the exactly same looking rooms, about 10 of them, and never told anyone which room he will sleep, his treatment after he fell down was greatly delayed because nobody knew which room he was in. As is seen in this episode, his character of suspecting others became stronger and stronger the older he became. And this is the opposite characteristic to that of psychopath. You know, the true psychopath never commits suicide, I told you, right? And in whatever hard condition he is put, he tries to remain positive. One example is one psychopathic serial killer, right before his execution, said he is the most thrilled and excited to think about experiencing the death which he has never experienced so far. So, high-level psychopath remains positive and optimistic all the way, while Stalin in the last years was highly suspicious. Where did this difference come from? This is my own analysis, but one possibility is that abusive forces started to affect Stalin after he established certain level of attachment with his mother. By attachment, I mean emotional development. That's why he could not be numb and truly optimistic to the external pressures. Does this make sense to you? But high-level psychopath, those external aggression, external pressure starts during a critical period before he established attachment. That means before he developed any emotional basis. So I think that is the reason why some high-level psychopaths stayed optimistic till the end, while Stalin became more suspicious because he established a bit of emotional basis with his mother during the critical period. That's my estimate about why those two differ. So I would wrap this up by simple conclusion. Hitler's background is neglect plus abuse afterwards, while Stalin's personality basis is mother's high pressure plus a little bit of neglect, and later father's aggression, and later seminary with dormitory filled with corporal punishment and strict regulations. Hitler, neglect; Stalin, abuse. That's the basic difference which created two types of dictators. I think I gave you some new information, so I hope you would think about it and make your own judgment. And up until next time, have a wonderful time. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye now.